What is up, guys? In today's video, we're going to be spectating random players in Fortnite Zero Build, going over what I think they do well, what they could do differently, and just the state of the game right now. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, and if you guys would like to use my code in the shop when getting anything, it is EvolveJake, just like my channel name is, and it is underneath the webcam at all times. So we're going to be going Sandy Strip this game just because it was early in the bus path, and it's a POI that I feel like tends to be decently populated. This POI I feel like got a little bit worse with the South Park update because the Bride NPC that's in that building previously would drop a purple Forsaken Blade when eliminated her, and that was like guaranteed 100% chance of happening. And that made this POI I feel like pretty underrated. The purple Forsaken Blade wasn't like incredible, but it was much better than not having any mobility at all. I'm gonna be on board with Carmelo. I am not at all expecting much out of this player, to be honest, because they just opened a ammo box right in front of me rather than shooting me first and then opening the ammo box. But we will see what they get into. There's people fighting on the other side of the building with dual shotguns, and that's really bad because this player doesn't have a shotgun at all. Might be an AI shooting those dual shotguns though. It's been shooting for like an hour at this point. What is going on? It's Camilo, not Carmelo. I misread. Still no shotgun. This is unlucky. They're going to be getting these barrels to be full HP though. They've gotten like a good amount of shield item spawns, but just no shotgun, which is going to make any close range fight they get into just really hard for them unless they can get so much damage to start the fight that it doesn't matter, or just like pick somebody mid-range. Okay, thank you. I was going to say you need to let that person go. So that person is wingsuiting away. The player we're spectating hadn't really done much damage to them at all. And this is a POI where there's probably still a good amount of players in the area because we saw, like, off spawn, there's a lot of people landing here. So, like, focusing on that person wingsuiting is just not a requirement at all. Like, as soon as they started flying and he hadn't gotten the kill, I think you want to just be not worried about that anymore. Finally, he gets shotguns. Now, the main thing that I would want to be looking for if I was this player would be mobility and like cover items. I like carrying both, especially with the change in the pacing of the game with the South Park update. I think those cover items, you see them a lot more frequently in Zero Build, and if you don't have them, it's going to be much harder for you to play, especially in like endgame scenarios. You can kind of get by with it early game, but especially late game and even in the mid game, it can be an absolute struggle. Okay, so this is like a very interesting setup here. He has the sniper and the dual shotguns. He has no real mid-range weapon. Or kind of like close mid-range, because, you know, the range on the shotguns is very limited. It can work if he's incredibly good at sniping. But if this player isn't very, very good at sniping, then this is going to be a loadout that immediately backfires in their face the moment they encounter anybody decent. Because the other weapons, like the Deadeye AR, even the Tac AR, like those in mid-range are going to put out so much pressure than this player. And if he misses a shot or two, then it's going to be wraps. Also, anybody using mobility is going to be really hard for him to deal with. Even the wingsuit. But like, if someone's trying to crash pad away, wingsuit away, even launch pad away, drive away, like he's not going to be able to do anything to them. Here's fights over here, and he's going to use all his crash pads to get involved here, which is kind of the unfortunate aspect of the crash pad spawn rate. So he's going to third party this. He needs to get these kills. This is terrible. This is over. He didn't, yeah, that's about as bad as it could be. So these people were like not even really fighting for some reason. Like the timing was just so weird with the player we were spectating getting involved. And he was just like caught in the middle there. This player should get involved. Okay, yeah. Unfortunate for him, he misses his shot. But I think pushing here was still the play. Because this player had been fighting so much. He went all the way down. He can peek through the window and get this kill. I think if he went through the window, he would have got the kill. But I like him pushing there despite having low HP. Because the player that he was going to third party should also be in a pretty scuffed situation. Like they just had fought like 3 or 4 straight people and had no opportunity to really heal or reload. Turns out that it seems like they didn't really take much damage at all from the previous fights. And so that's unfortunate. But even just needing to reload their dual shotgun should put this player at a massive disadvantage. But they were just able to win the fight anyways. the anime character we were spectating, I don't know his name, but him missing that opening pump shot, I feel like just cost everything. But even with that happening, it wasn't as bad as I think if he shot through the window, he would have got the kill. Like, it was still recoverable, but like that opening shot was such a big deal because he was like already not healthy, you know? If you're going into a fight not healthy and then you miss your opening shot too, like that's just a recipe for disaster. I don't know why there was like so many people pushing this spot though. That was so weird. But yeah, I knew as soon as we saw Camelo get involved there, they were like kind of caught in the middle between a fight that was like not happening. And that's something that can be a real problem if you go to third party a fight, is like you think people are much more invested in the fight than they actually are. You're expecting both players to be weak. You're expecting both players to be like fully distracted. And then you get there and nothing's really happening. And you kind of get in too deep and you don't really have any sort of way to like get out of there. Him using his last crash pad to get there was unfortunate. And then also having only the sniper, like he tried to like snipe the person off the balcony and it just was not ever gonna happen. This person just had the Kenny medallion, so they get to respawn. Seems like the player we're spectating doesn't really understand it. With a zone this big, I would expect that Miku got like put across the map, so I wouldn't really be that invested in getting this kill. Like, I would just probably go about my day. When you get later on in the game and like the zones are just automatically smaller, there's kind of less area for them to respawn. It seems like he's going to move on now. I appreciate that. If he was just going to like stay there for like such an absurd amount of time, I probably would have switched off him. But he, you know, waited a bit to see if they're like respawning right on top. And then when they didn't, he moves on. That car there would be huge. I don't know if he'll take it, but with the lack of mobility, I feel like cars are even better now than they were before. And they were already very good, but you just get to travel the map faster, not use your mobility items, not get caught off guard and just full like sprayed because you got caught off, or get sniped because you got caught off. So much safer. And you have a piece of mobile cover potentially. I think that's an AI up there. Their movement seems weird. They're like, yeah, it's an AI. There's like randomly taking their pickaxe out to try to break that box. Chug. Unfortunately, it's at 130. I would take that 130 chug over the cheesy poos, but it's whatever. I don't really like carrying white heels only. The sticks spawn, so this would be a time where having the cheesy poofs would actually be really nice. But I don't really like carrying white heels only, because a lot of fights you get in, you'll be in a situation where you've only taken shield damage. You have an opportunity to heal during the fight, and if you only have white heals, you can't take advantage of that. So like, let's say you got body sniped. I don't know the exact amount of damage the body sniper does off the top of my head, but you're going to be at about 150 health. Like, your overshield is going to be gone, and then about 50 of your shield is going to be gone. If you have a big pot there, or a chug jug, or a slurp juice, you can heal. But if you only have cheesy poofs, then you can't get anything back in that moment, and you're just stuck at that amount of HP because you haven't actually taken white health damage. That's also why I don't really like carrying minis as well. Does someone put the stick here? This is like a terrible location for the stick. My guess is that person's gonna go up towards like on the hotel and then try to defend it, but I don't like this at all. So where he put it is right here. If you're trying to defend this location, you have to worry about enemies coming from every direction possible, which is problematic. Whereas like, let's say hypothetically he took it to here, you wouldn't have to worry about this backside that's already purple. You'd only have to worry about like, I don't know, 270 degrees in front of you. Or like maybe here, once zone is already caught up to it, that would have been good to go to. But I think where he did it was just bad. This guy was killing an AI. People always comment that they're mad when I'm talking about things in the map, but him shooting an AI is just incredibly irrelevant. Like, there's where this player placed the stick, I think is going to make a very weird situation. Also, I've seen people say to put it on the shape at Sandy strip, the big purple thing. I don't really like that either, because that's another spot that's not really defendable. I think if you're in like very low level lobbies, people might not think to like just get on one of the buildings and shoot at you. And I know some of the buildings you can't be seen from perfectly, but if somebody like stacks bunkers on one of the tall buildings in Sandy, they could just see over the strip entirely, or on the shape entirely, and beam you. And you can't put bunkers up there. So you're just like in a spot that's like creating very coin flippy fights, because people have to like wingsuit up to you. And it'll probably be a situation where like the last person involved gets to win. Like, I think putting on a shape is just like very fluky. Like, this person in that bunker up there could maybe see a decent amount of the shape. And if they stack the bunker on top of that bunker, then they could certainly see it. If they have 3 bunkers to stack, then anyone on the shape is just a kill. Interested to see how this is going to play out. The player we're spectating doesn't have any cover items. And you're going to get forced into some weird situations. Without, or just with like how the stick plays. And so not having that cover item could be pretty detrimental. The person from the top of the hotel will have to drop though. And that's why I don't like where they placed it. Because if they wanted to camp on that hotel, they could just place the stick up on the hotel with them. And then at least people have to come to them. But eventually he's going to have to drop down into an area where everybody else is also pushing to. Maybe he's just hoping the lobby is like pretty dead by that time. And then he'll drop down on it and bunker again. But we'll see. And that is kind of one thing you can do with these Stick of Truth games. The stick comes and there's 5 minutes in the match, right? And that sounds like a little bit. But we've seen it play out here where there's actually just quite a bit of time for people who are already in this area. So you could just kind of place it and then hide somewhere nearby and then hope that the lobby kills itself enough panicking and then you can kind of just capitalize on that. There's still 7 opponents remaining though, and the zone is getting pretty small. And this guy's dead off timing. He does have the Kenny medallion. That's another thing that's like really helpful to have in these Stick of Truth zones. Not necessarily for a situation like that because this is going to be hard for him to regain in. But if the game was like basically already ending, like the zone was like half the size of what it is now. Oh, we'll see what he does here. But if the zone was much smaller when he died, him coming in late like this and just like landing on somebody, if that person is a final player, is very winnable. Gonna be taking a lot of damage out here, but he does the cheesy post. He needs to eat the cheesy post. The slurp isn't going to kill him alone. So he's basically like late rotating in storm, hoping that people fight in zone. And then he can just like capitalize on it. But unfortunately for him, no one's fighting and somebody dropped out this way. This is going to be him losing. Probably. I don't know what just happened. That guy got... The person driving the bus wanted to protect him. Heal, please. Thank you. He needs to reload AR. Okay, he has attack arrow too. Those grenades could maybe be helpful, but I would want to be drinking the big pot here. It's going to be a very coin flip situation. The bubble is nice. This is good. Just run, just run. That's GG's. There is somebody else. Oh, this is like so unfortunate. So I was going to say there's somebody else that just dropped down behind the person that he was running from. But they didn't chase. They just like sat in there. But he has no shotgun. And like basically no ammo. So he kind of just has to hope to get timing on somebody. And it might be possible. It's 2 players remaining. They're going to fight. This is perfect. So he gets out the moment this fight ends and just ARs them. This person should be weak. Just walk forward and AR. If they get in the car, you just spray the driver's seat. This person's going to get some of their overshield back. Okay, he gets the kill. I was going to say they're going to get some of their overshield back. The fact that, like, time has gone on made it bad for him because that player is going to get their overshield back, and he doesn't have much ammo. You see he has 14 ammo in the tac AR, and I'm not sure if he ever loaded his Deadeye AR. So that was, like, getting dicey. As soon as, like, that fight ended between the PJ and Stan, you want to be shooting them. Like, getting out a little bit before the fight ended probably would have been ideal. But it worked out anyways. Very interesting game. And that's kind of like what I was talking about with the Kenny medallion, where, like, coming back in a very chaotic moment can sometimes actually benefit you. It wasn't as chaotic as I was, like, as what I had in mind when I was going to say that. But he ended up making it work. Very, very strange game. But let me know what you thought of that down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more. And one final thing, I was talking about how, like, just hiding and capitalizing on the chaos can kind of help in these situations, and that's essentially what happened there. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.